I am Dr. C.S. Devara, Director, Amity Center for Ocean Atmospheric Science and Technology, ACOAST, and Amity Center for Environmental Science and Health, ACESH, Amity University, Haryana, Gurugram, India. I will be presenting my paper on multi-sensor study of the impact of air pollution on COVID-19. The collaborators of this study are ACOAST ACESH team, Amity University, Haryana, NASA GSFC, USA, Ecotech Private Limited, Melbourne, Australia, Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, Pune, India Meteorological Department, New Delhi, Aryabhatta Research Institute of Observational Sciences, Nainital, and Sri Venkateswara University, Tirupati. As we all know, coronavirus, COVID-19 pandemic, is a complex virus caused a havoc to the entire world. It is a pandemic infectious disease of microbiological origin with DNA as host. Also, it spreads through animal to human and human to human transmission of pathogens. To mitigate this problem, lockdown and social distancing are the possible remedies. We also know that regions with the history of high pollution are more likely to succumb to the disease. In the literature, we know that an increase of 1 microgram per cubic meter in PM 2.5 mass concentration is associated with 15% increase in the COVID-19 death rate. So it is so that danger of virus. In the present situation, there is no alternative to lockdown till a suitable vaccine is invented. So in this study, we have used a suite of instruments for monitoring and studying this coronavirus, both during its initial stage and also during the lockdown phases associated with coronavirus 19. We have used Climate Research Laboratory, where a suite of instruments we have utilized for studying the aerosol pollutants, microphysics, and optical properties. Also, we have used air quality monitoring station installed at our university, which gives about 32 parameters of both primary and secondary aerosol pollutants, and also simultaneous surface meteorological parameters like temperature, wind speed, direction, relative humidity, etc. Also, we have used here in the study NASA AARA Sun Sky Radiometer, which measures the optical, microphysical, and radiative properties of aerosol pollutants. And another one facility what we have used is polar nephelometer, which basically measures the atmospheric extinction, which is indirectly a signature of air pollution. And also we have used in the study next generation ethylometer, which basically measures the black carbon aerosols, and this instrument simultaneously gives the synchronous biomass burning. This instrument has given us some clues about the present day COVID scenario. Here what I have shown in the figure is the concentration of particulate matter, PM10, PM2.5, PM1, and also the constituents NO2, NOx, ammonia, and surface meteorological parameter relative humidity. You can see undulations in these parameters, and also I have indicated with the downward arrow different phases of the observational period. The first one is first reported phase. Actually in India, COVID-19 has been reported for the first time on 15th January 2020. Then another epoch is when there was a rain and wind effect, which caused the concentrations very low. And also this phase actually pre-Holi and post-Holi. Holi is an Indian festival that caused some of the significant fluctuations in these constant mass concentrations. So here we can see the departures or anomaly or deviations of each parameter what we have considered in the present study. The first one is PM10 variations. You can see the positive departures and negative departures depend upon the fluctuations of this particulate matter. And here these are the fluctuations of PM2.5 departures. And this is PM1 departures. Then this is NO2. This is NH3, and then this is another constituent like the NO2, NO2. Yeah, this variations, normally these departures will give us a clue of the detection of COVID and spread of COVID and also the intensity of the COVID disease. So these are all related with the extent of the departure observed in these constituents. The more the departure, you can quickly identify the COVID, and then also you can see the spatial spreading of the COVID. And some more constituents we have studied here, the VOCs, benzene, and then this is toluene, volatile organic compounds, and then down this is ozone deviations, and then this is SO2. You can see variation in ozone variation. Ozone here, unlike the other constituents, ozone concentrations during the lockdown periods, it is go on increasing. This of course can be very well understood when during the lockdown period, all the activities, man-made activities, particularly the automobiles are stopped, and then construction activities are stopped, and then construction demolition activities are also stopped. So there is no absolutely anthropogenic pollution. So thereby the solar radiation directly reaching the ground. Because of that high solar radiation available, sunlight available, more ozone is formed. That's how actually, unlike all the other constituents, we have seen the ozone variations significantly high throughout the lockdown periods. This is the observational period from 15th January to 30th March 2020. So these are all the meteorological parameters for the period when we considered the aerosol pollutants, particulates, as well as secondary aerosol pollutants. This is wind speed and then rain. Wind speed on left side y-axis. You can see the wind speed variations, and then rain variation. The scale is given on the right side. These two are very significantly affect the aerosol pollution. As we all know, when wind is high, speeds are very high, then it dissipates, pollutants dissipates. So thereby concentrations come down. Same way, natural rain scavenging phenomena, that is what we call the rain measurement. When the precipitation intensity is more of the pollutants are washed away. This is what we call scavenging phenomenon. So because of these two parameters, actually there will be a significant variations in the concentrations of not only particulate matter, but also in the trace gases. So here actually we have considered 44 stations around the Delhi National Capital Region, NCR, Delhi NCR region. So here what we can observe is that there are undulations are highly intensified before the lockdown. When the lockdown started, this has come down, and then ultimately the average levels, if you see, is almost after the lockdown, it touched almost about the NAAQS, National Ambient Air Quality Standard, and also the WHO standard. Since this WHO standard, this yellow line, you can see the gradual decrease, and then ultimately the concentration levels are almost touching the WHO standard lines. That means drastically come down after the introduction of the lockdown periods. And similarly, this red line indicates the National Ambient Air Quality Standard. So after launching of this lockdown period, introducing the lockdown period, the pollution levels have come down like anything. And here we have fitted the long-term trend line, best fit line. You can see the almost from 200 microgram per meter cube to almost about 50 of PM 2.5 is reduced. PM 2.5 is considered to be one of the dangerous pollutants which cause very significantly the human health. So this is very important. So during the lockdown periods, the PM2 concentration levels, besides PM1 and PM10, these levels have been reduced like to the very standard levels of WHO. Here, actually, the other instrument output we are using here, this is what I told, aerosol extinction. This is aerosol optical depth and size index. Here you can see this set of curves are all aerosol optical depth, and then the topmost orange color curve is for aerosol index. This is what we call angstrom exponent or angstrom parameter. So you can see the drastic variations in aerosol optical depth. This is columnar aerosol extinction. So this is nothing but indirectly the air quality or air pollution. So more the aerosol optical depth, more the pollution. So this is direct, it has nothing but the signatures of air pollution, this aerosol optical depth. And also you can see the particle size information from this angstrom exponent. We can derive the particle sizes are very small during the lockdown periods. This is again total scattering coefficient from polar nephelometer. So here actually three colors you are seeing the histograms. One is blue, red, and green. These three are three different wavelengths lying in the visible region: 425, 525, and 625 nanometers. So again, this polar nephelometer output also can be directly connected with the aerosol pollution. You can clearly see this is initial phases of the COVID when there is no lockdown introduced. The moment lockdown is introduced, the levels have come down like anything. But after some time, again it increased. This is mainly because after the lockdown, the testing process for the people has gone very slowly, and also the relaxation period was not strict. The lockdown period was not strict. Some sort of relaxations government has given. So because of these problems, the concentration levels, this extinction coefficient has gone up. that means pollution level has gone up, and later on lockdown periods it has come down. So here this is the main very important picture which we have to consider and which gives some sort of futuristic actions what you have to do. Here what is plotted is confirmed cases, active cases and recovered cases of coronavirus. So I have shown linear fitting also. You can see confirmed cases, they are significantly increasing trends, and also the recovered cases that also is showing increasing trends. That means now the question is, when one side lockdown is going on, why instead of reducing, why the corona cases are going up? This is one of the burning problem which was being thought over by the entire scientific communities, not only in India, else other countries also. So then we thought that what could be the possible reasons? Even though when lockdown phases are on, why these corona cases are going up? Then we thought that what we have controlled is only ambient pollution, but we have not touched anything about the indoor pollution. And during the lockdown period, people are residing in the house only inside. And then lot of activities are going on because nobody is coming out and nobody is exposed to the atmosphere. So indoor pollution, we feel, is one of the major causes for the corona cases rise even during the lockdown periods. So this we wanted to confirm. So for that purpose, actually we have operated our ethylometer. Ethylometer principle basically measures the black carbon concentration, that is elemental carbon concentration. And this, the ethylometer what we have used here is new generation, very latest ethylometer that gives at 7 wavelengths black carbon concentration, and also it gives very important product, that is biomass burning. Simultaneously, it measures the biomass burning in percentage. So these measurements gave us some sort of reasonable clue why the coronavirus is increasing in spite of imposing the lockdown. Here you can see when the lockdown is introduced, the black carbon concentrations are going down as usual, like the other pollutant cases. But what is to be observed here is this is biomass burning ratios. Actually, this is increasing during the lockdown. So that means biomass burning, which comes either from locally or from long range. But there are little chances for long range transport of biomass, because in every country during that time has imposed more or less lockdown. So there is no question of coming out this much biomass burning activity and mixing with our black carbon concentrations. So this is really in local biomass burning. So where from the most possible source for such a high level biomass burning is the indoor pollution. So indoor pollution, once again, we like to confirm that that is one of the reasons. I cannot say strictly that is the only reason. That is one of the reasons why during the lockdown period also the corona cases are going up. So these are some of the highlights of our study. Departures in criteria pollutants: PM10, 2.510, NO2, NH3, SO2, CO, O3, benzene and toluene concentrations found more during less pollution periods. So there is an antiphase relationship between the concentrations of these pollutants and lockdown periods. And among the pollutants under study, fluctuations in NO2 and particulate matter. We found these fluctuations or departures are larger during the COVID period, but not in unlock period. So less aerosol extinction, scattering coefficient, size index, black carbon are found to decrease, while biomass burning, ozone and water vapor are increased during the lockdown period. This is what exactly the contrasting phenomena what we have observed in our study. And then government actions led to minimum pollution levels below the National Ambient Air Quality Standard and World Health Organization standards. This is one way lockdown introduction has reduced the pollution to the extent of meeting almost the standard levels. This is the summary and conclusions of our study. Of course, the collocated synchronous measurements I showed you. In the case of black carbon measurements we have made at 3 places. One at Amity University, Haryana, which is considered as rural station. Other one is Mahabaleshwar, which is considered as high altitude station, and also in Bhopal, which is urban. So at 3 different locations, we have measured the black carbon concentration. At all the 3 locations, it showed during the lockdown period, black carbon concentration is coming down, but biomass burning contribution is going up. So that is another clue we have got to explain why the corona cases increase is there even during the lockdown periods. And also we have simultaneously measured here in our study Central Pollution Control Board, SAFAR and MAP and Systems of India. About 44 locations we have used in synchronization with our data analysis. Under larger fluctuations provide us to detect the intensity and then spatial variability of coronavirus, COVID-19. And ongoing government actions like Janata curfew and long period lockdown helped us to deactivate or kill the virus. Of course, that is true. During the lockdown period, you have witnessed all this type of phenomena, virus and then bacteria killed during the lockdown periods. And then pollution levels on the other side, pollution levels have come down to the level of standard levels of WHO. And current exercise going on in every country to isolate the hotspots of COVID areas and then isolate and then separately study them, isolate them and to avoid further spreading of the corona. The disparity between lockdown come social distance approach and COVID-19 cases could be due to delay in commencement of testing the patients. So of course that happened not only in India, many places. The moment COVID is witnessed, immediately tests have not been started, but there was some delay. The delay also help to spread the corona. Delay in commencement of testing the patients and impact of indoor pollution, which is substantial in some areas, some of the pockets of the country where the indoor pollutions are dominating the ambient pollutions. So that is one of the clues what we have found in 2 things. See, variability or departures of concentrations provided us to detect its intensity as well as spread. And then another one is why the corona cases are increasing even after the COVID period. And then now this work was carried out as a part of the joint collaborative project between Amity University, Haryana, Gurugram, India, and Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, Pune, India. And thanks are also due to all the authorities of Amity University and Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology for their support. So the conclusion what I wanted to reiterate here is that 1 out of 8 deaths in the world is due to poor air quality. So we all have to put corrective effort to mitigate this air pollution, reduce the pollution levels to the maximum extent so that they touch the levels, standard levels, and continue and minimize pollution and save mankind. Thank you very much, all of you, for patience listening. Thank you.